Hey, what's going on, fellas? It's Zara here. We are coming in here with our first video covering a Master Duel. And I figured, all the hype's died down, I've gathered my bearings with the game. Figured I'd give a profile on the best Tri-Brigade build that no one is talking about. And that is Lunalite Tri-Brigade. Now, why would I say it's the best build? Well, it's simple. They have one card in their arsenal that Bird Up and Pure Tri, as well as any other variant of Tri, they don't have access to, and that's Lunalite Tiger. This card is banned in the actual TCG for a reason, and once I get into explaining the deck and how it works, I'm sure you guys will understand. So let's go ahead and get started. We're playing the 1 DD Crow. It's a good one of. You might have watched my deck list and the real TCG about how I play 3 of this in Pure Tri Brigade. It's just a great searchable hand trap that outs anything you want banished from the graveyard. 1 Nerval. So Tri Brigade is not the powerhouse of this deck, similarly to how it's not the powerhouse of the Bird Up deck itself. We aren't overloaded on Tri names, we're only playing 3 Fractal, and that's because we want the level 4 Beast Warrior synergy for our rank 4 plays, which is something that we're primarily doing over anything else here. I've got the 1 Maxi. This is for a variety of reasons. Obviously, if you draw it, you can just use it as if you played 3. But mainly, have this in here for Crossout Designator. I'm not interested in investing in Maxi at the moment just because of how shaky the ban list situation is at the moment. We're not sure if we're going to keep Maxi in the TCG version of this game once that fully releases, so I'm not convinced I want to invest fully in a playset of this. But 1 copy so I can cross out it while it's legal feels fair. 1 Karis, it's a good extender. If you hard draw it, you can search it with Nerval, or you can get to it in a standard Tri-Brigade line with Fractal. Just a very good card, good extender in any Beast Warrior, Wing Beast deck. Kit, she's here only to facilitate loading up the grave. We don't even use her as a normal summon like in Pure Tri. Just an extra name. And the homie itself, Lunalite Tiger, this card is insane. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over the Pendulum effect for this card for anyone who might not be aware. The Pendulum effect is, once per turn you can target a Lunalite monster in your graveyard, special summon it. It's negated, can't attack, destroy during the end phase. It's just Monster Reborn. One thing you might notice though, this card does not say you can only use this effect of Lunalite Tiger once per turn. So we have a few ways we can facilitate bouncing this back to our hand, and then placing it back on the field to reuse it, and then bouncing it back to our hand and placing it back on the field to reuse it. And you'll see in just a moment what I'm talking about. But this card is just absolutely insane. This makes everything possible. This being banned in the TCG makes this deck unplayable, but this card being at 3 is just insane. We've got Double Ash. Enough to where we can draw it sometimes and use it, but enough usually where we're just worried about you being able to use it with Crossout. We got the 1, so this is one of our Tiger facilitators, Blackwing Zephyros. So we're searching this in combo and then discarding it or normal summoning it because this deck often doesn't use its normal summon. And then you can bounce it from the graveyard, take 400 damage, special summon it from the graveyard by bouncing your Tigers, which you're always doing. Very good card. Also has other niche uses, doesn't have to bounce Tiger. It can bounce things like, I've bounced a Nibiru in bad hands. This doesn't have bad hands very often, but I did have a bad hand one time where I bounced a Nibiru that I'd used and then used it on my opponent again because I played into it twice. So very good card. You can only use it once per duel though, so we don't play more than 1, and once you've used it once, you can pretty much use it for Tri fodder. 1 Emerald Bird. This is something that doesn't come up all the time, but it's just an extra Lunalite name, and it's basically Thoroughblade. If you're familiar with Zodiac Thoroughblade, can help you discard and get a draw, load up your graveyard, and you can discard even, like, if you hard draw this and Serenade Dance and normal this, pitch Serenade Dance, get another summon. Very good. Yellow Martin is the other card in this deck that we are using to loop our Tiger. It's an in-archetype way, off of Kaleido Chick. I believe I skipped Kaleido Chick actually. So we're dumping Kaleido Chick. We're dumping Yellow Martin with Kaleido Chick here. And so what this does is it bounces, just like Zephyros, bounces a Lunalite card you control. So we're targeting Tiger with this every time. To special summon this from your grave or hand. but banish it when it leaves the field, but that doesn't matter because we're using it for Xyzes, so when it's detached as material, it'll go to the graveyard again anyway. And then Lunalite Kaleido Chick is, let's see, yep, it's a Armageddon Knight for the archetype, basically. But on top of that, it also has an effect where if it's banished, which you can facilitate off of Tri-Brigade effects, your opponent cannot activate cards in the battle phase. So if your opponent lets you go into battle phase with game on board, there's nothing they can do from there. It's over. So yeah, that's these two cards covered. This is what's facilitating most of the deck, and everything else in here is pretty much just a way to get to it or extend. Triple Fractal, went over it before. It's a good, it's another rank 4 or level 4 Xyz enabler for the deck, because we're playing a bunch of rank 4s. This is a rank 4 toolbox deck. But it's also a Tri-Brigade monster, so it can banish your Tri-types from grave to cheat out those links for extra extension. Just very unfair. We are playing Scythe in this deck. This is something I made a last-minute change on. I've not been playing this in the ladder very much, but very, very good. We can facilitate this with Tornado Dragon and Dagda, since we don't have Phoenix Enforcer in the game, but it's still very effective. Scything your opponent is very strong, even in Master Duels. Don't get it twisted. And then double Nibiru. So we don't want to get Nibiru'd ourselves, so we're playing this at 2 for cross out, but drawing it against combo, also just very strong. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This just gets any monster we're missing into the grave. You can dump a Kaleido Chick, revive it with Perfume to get your combo started. You can dump a Yellow Martin Hard. You can dump Emerald Bird, which has an effect to revive a Lunalite from grave when it's sent to grave by a card effect. So it's very, very good. Triple Perfume. This is both an extender and a combo starter. So this, you can Monster Reborn, a Lunalite in your grave, and then you can banish it from your grave in the same turn even, and discard a card from your hand to search any Lunalite monster. So this is a way you're going to search Tiger or Kaleido Chick, depending on, your hands, and to get your combo, because these are the two you always want to see, Kaleido Tiger, any way to get to these two, and that's full combo. For Foolish Burial Goods, this is just another way to get your combo going, because you can dump the Perfume directly from deck to get a search, as well as you can dump the Lunalite Serenade Dance, which is a trap later that summons straight from the deck. So you get your special summon from deck off of Kaleido Chick, for a Kaleido Chick, and you get going from there without using your normal, so it's very good. 1 Lightning Storm, same as the other stuff. If you draw it, it's good, but mainly I have this in here because with it being in the bundle, in the shop, people have access to this as a board breaker more than most other stuff. So this is just like a pretty meta call for me to play this as a cross-out target more than anything. So I've got this in here at 1. Triple Tinky. It searches any combo piece we need, or Fractal, if we have a full combo that we need. So it's a very flexible searcher, very good way to get the combo started. Double Twin Twisters, including that beautiful Royal Finish Twin Twister there. This game is best of 1s. Usually you would be maining Spell and Trap Hate in this, but it's worth playing. You'll play against backward decks and you'll want Twin Twister. It'll happen, trust me. And then Double Called By, Triple Cross Out. Both of these cards serve the same purpose, so we'll go over them together. We don't want our combo interrupted as much as possible. We don't want to get Max Seed during our combo, because Max Seed is running around in the game right now. So playing 5 copies of a card that lets us say no to our opponent's Max Seed is, I believe, optimal. We don't want our opponent having access to something so powerful. It's really all it boils down to. And our deck can afford to play it because it's so consistent. Which you'll notice it's also very consistent because I'm playing 44, and this deck still, it gets the job done, to say the least. 1 Imperm, same as the other stuff. Good if you see it, good to cross out. 1 Revolt, we are playing a Bear Brum in here. This is just good for, we don't get this in full combo. We don't go for this, but it's good to hard draw with full combo, or it's good to just search if you get, hindered somehow. You can still go to a Bear Brum, still link it off, and get an Appaloosa and a Revolt or something, just like a standard tri-play. But that's after you've been hand-trapped and maybe hindered in a certain way, depending on the hand. So yeah, it's a good card to play at 1. You can search it. And then Serenade Dance we went over with goods, but this is one of your targets for goods, and you are using this to get Kaleido Chick from deck. Most of the time, sometimes Emerald Bird, but most of the time Kaleido Chick. And then the extra deck, we got Abyss Dweller. Against a lot of decks, locking your opponent out of their graveyard entirely. Just very strong. And I've noticed a lot of the times, too, people don't really give this card credit or don't bother reading this, because I will notice people activating, like, Foolish Burial for Shadow Mist, and then pausing for a minute to wonder why their Shadow Mist didn't trigger. People aren't aware of what this card does, which makes this even stronger, which is crazy to me, because this card was relevant for so long in the TCG. But I digress. So we got Brotherhood of the Firefist Tiger King. This is good for breaking boards. If your opponent lets this resolve, it's Dark Ruler. But more importantly, on summon, you can you can set a tanky directly from your deck with him. So if you can somehow get 2 monsters on board, but you're still missing a tiger, you can search your tiger with the tanky, and you can get your combo rolling from there. Makes awkward hands a little more playable, and you can still get the full combo from there with him. Force Strix is how we're searching Zephyros to get him into our hand and then dump him to grave to start looping Tiger. Doesn't really serve much more of a purpose than that. He is another tri-type name, so that's important. Drident, we are summoning this with Chakanine, which, because we aren't playing any Zodiac names in the main deck, but we're summoning Chakanine with 2 level 4s, then overlaying immediately for Drident. Just a very strong, simplified game state controller, just like Phoenix Enforcer is. Just a quick effect every single turn, you're popping a card, popping a card, popping a card. The advantage can rack up very quick in a simplified game state if your opponent doesn't deal with this. Then we've got Tornado Dragon. This is helping facilitate both back row hate against back row decks, as well as popping our Scythe to Scythe our opponent in combo. So you must run this card, it's very good. And then we've got Time Thief Redoer. He is just I like running him to kind of like rip cards off my opponent's deck, attach that material in their standby so I can figure out what they're playing and if I need to Scythe them or if I need to hold a Tornado Dragon for one of their back row if they're a back row deck. This helps me get info before my opponent starts making plays in the standby phase, so it's very good. And he's also just a good card. You rip spells, you get pluses, you rip traps, you get disruption. And he's just a hard monster to out with the monster effect to banish himself until the end phase. He's just very dodgy. Dagda, he helps us search Scythe, not really there for much more. Double Dragon Lords, just like in Pure Tri, this is one of the better Tri-type links to cheat yourself into. He's just a free bounce. You can send your Tinky, you can send whatever. Farragut is a link we'll often link our Force Strix off into to extend. She summons from hand for free, just very good. Bearbrum is here to search Revolt. Mortal Sword is here to kill. Not much more than that. I pulled him as a shiny, so I figured I'd play him over Access Code, but if you have Access Code, I would play him over Mortal Sword. I just haven't invested in Access Code quite yet. Appaloosa. Monster Negates are very strong. Nothing more needs to be said. And then Shureg. So in this deck, you can use Shureg also as a searcher. In your turn 1 combo. Banish 4, summon him, link the 2 off into Farragut, search for one of your missing Luna Light cards to get your full combo rolling. And then also going second, of course, just like in Bird Up, he can do the same thing, but also spot banish a card for removal to help you kind of like pick apart your opponent's board, so very good. We're playing 2 of him for that exact reason. So yeah, only thing I want to say at the end of this video is might be worth considering running, let me pull it up here, Galaxy Cyclone. Only because we're playing 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods for combo anyway, and sending this to the graveyard against like a stun deck could help you out things like Skill Drain or just any problem with Floodgates, so you can start playing again. I've elected to cut it only because we're already maining the 2 Twin Twisters and Lightning Storm, but, 1 Galaxy Cyclone equates to, you have 4 extra copies of this in your deck, only because you're playing the 3 goods to help you see it as well. So yeah, it's worth considering. I had it in my build for a while. I've cut it for now. It might end up going back in. But the deck's already kind of tight as it is. We're already playing 44. So yeah, that's why it's not in at the moment. But definitely consider it. And if you want to play it, definitely do. It's strong enough. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you have any suggestions or any other ideas, anything you want to see from me with Master Duel, let me know. And yeah, take it easy, fellas. Peace.